David was anointed. David was chosen. David was strong. And David was still struggling. Your depression doesn't mean canceling your calling. Your sorrow does not disqualify you from your faith. If God used David in his lowest moments, he is not done with you either. Welcome back, beautiful people. It is a beautiful Friday morning. Of course, back in the house today. So today's topic is going to be the warrior who broke down. All right, so let's get right into it. David killed giants. He was chosen by God. He was called by a man after God's own heart. But he also cried at night. In Psalm 6, it says that he flooded his bed with tears. In Psalm 13, he asked, "How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever?" If David battled deep sorrow, maybe your struggles don't mean your faith is weak. Have you ever just sat in bed trusting God, but just crying so much that you just don't know what to do? I've been there. I've done it before God and I've done it after God. Before I accepted God and after I accepted God. The only difference is that before I accepted God, I would turn to some bad things. I would turn to drugs. I would turn to alcohol. I would turn to videos. I would turn to a lot of things that were not of God. The other part of it was after I found God, I turned to Him. I cried about how I wasn't okay, about how I want to be better, how I want to feel better, how I want to be okay, where I want to forget the past, where I don't want to think about it no more, where I want to be able to move on and be happy. Well, it turns out that's not how God wants you. He doesn't want you to be perfect for Him. He wants to show you that your past is meant for bigger things. It is meant for you to be able to build yourself up from here, even though the world has knocked you down. So if you start building yourself up with God, your foundation is God. So no matter what happens to you, your foundation is God, right? He is the rock. And every time that you feel like you're up here and something happens to you, your foundation should be God. It should be exactly the same way every single time. And yes, as a Christian, I cry. Yes, as a man, I cry. Yes, as a father, I cry because it is okay. I grew up in the era where you were supposed to suck it up and just get over it. Or you just weren't cleaning enough or you just weren't doing enough. That's not how it is anymore. And I'm sorry to say that we're growing from that. But Jesus is the chain breaker. That means that we're not going to continue the same things that our parents did. We're not going to go through depression and let it take over our life. We're not going to bottle it up inside and let it destroy us. It takes a lot to be able to admit that you're not okay. But aren't we supposed to do that? Aren't we supposed to get to that point where we're telling ourselves that we're not okay? All right. So the first bullet point for today is David was honest about his pain. In Psalms 38, it says, "I am utterly crushed." He didn't fake the strength. He didn't pretend to be okay. He brought his depression to God. Faith isn't denying pain. It's bringing pain to the right place. Yes, I know how it feels to admit that you're not okay. It makes you think that you're weak, that you're unworthy, that you're annoying, that you're being a pest to people, that you're everything except for being okay. I know this. I felt like this. I felt like this for years. I felt like this for many, many years. I mean, come on, like as a man talking about your feelings, that already sounds wrong. Ask anyone over the age of 40 if they were able to express how they felt in their life, or if their parents talked to them about how to deal with depression, how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with thoughts of not being here. Ask them. It's going to be the same thing every single time. I didn't have time for that. I wasn't. Oh, if you were that, then uh, you just weren't cleaning enough. You were letting it take over your life. And here in Scripture, it talks about he brought his depression to God. He brought the things that weren't okay in his life to God. And that's how we should always do it. We should bring everything that is good to him and everything that is bad to him. Like I mentioned, he is the foundation. He is where we should be at. So when I found God, I allowed him to work in my life in a way that I've never let anyone work in my life. Yes, we would go and tell friends that were not okay. And what would we normally hear? Well, that's weird. That's dumb. Well, that's probably your fault. It was always everything except for, I'm here for you. Just keep talking to me. I'll listen. Just keep being here and I'll be here. It's very rare that you actually find someone who is willing to go through that battle with you. But also, if you don't talk, you are never going to get there. God gives you people in your life for a reason. It's either to make you or break you. If these people were meant to break you, they will show you their true colors when you talk about how you really feel, when you talk about God. Haven't you ever had someone who always like, oh, you always talk about God, or you always do this, and you're always posting about this, and okay, and that's what I love. I would rather tell you right now that God exists and He is real than never tell you and Judgment Day comes and then you yell at me and tell me that how come I didn't tell you? You think that it's easy? You think that it's easy going and talking about this? No, but I want to be an example. I want to help people. I want people to know that there's help out there. You may think that it's all fun and games and that this world is just having fun. No, this world is having fun, but why not have fun with the people that actually care about you? Why not have fun with trusting God? Why not have fun healing? All right, we are in the second bullet point now, and it is he felt forgotten, but he kept praying. And Psalms 13, uh, David felt abandoned. How long will I wrestle with my thoughts? That sounds like anxiety, overthinking, and depression. I'm pretty sure you've heard this before. But notice that he was still talking to God. Silence from heaven doesn't mean absence. Have you ever prayed for so long and you feel like you're not getting an answer? God always gives three answers: yes, no, not right now. The one that hurts me the most: not right now, not right now, not right now. Because that's what I'm hearing. That's where you have to have patience. That's where you have to learn humility. That's where you have to learn embarrassment. That's where you have to learn how to just calm down and stop letting your thoughts take over you. Yes, it sounds like, oh gosh, this is like some scientific stuff that I've never heard of before, and like, how is he doing stuff? It's not about me. It's about God working in me. I know that at the end of the day, whoever's watching this video, I hope that they feel that there is some type of way that they can reach out to someone where they can do the things that they've never done before. This is a crazy world that we're living in right now, in the past, present, and future. I mean, it's always going to be a crazy world. And we are always going to feel like our problems are not big enough for us to complain about. That's not how life is supposed to be. We're not complaining, we're asking for help. Change that mindset of, I am becoming a burden, to, I want to get better for myself and for others. Because the same thing happens with people who play sports. They consistently work on the things that are going to make them better in their life. That means cutting out alcohol. That means not partying. That means studying. That means everything you can think about a sports player would do in college. Yes, there's times to relax. There's times to not worry about it or think about other stuff and have fun. But the main goal is to be professional. And you only become professional if you are consistent, if you are every day doing the exact same thing, that you are every day denying the exact same thing. When you bring your thoughts and your pressures of life to God, He hears you. Whether you believe it or not, He hears you. I've been there. I know how it feels. But I'm a living testimony. You're a living testimony. And one of these days you're gonna realize that my thoughts matter too. And if you do not give yourself the time and the patience to at least sit down and talk with God, you're never going to be okay. It takes time. But I know that if I can do it, you can too. All right, we are in bullet point number 3. And he preached to himself. In Psalms 42, David says, "Why are you downcast? O my soul, put your hope in God." He didn't wait to feel better. He reminded himself of the truth. Sometimes healing starts with what you tell yourself in the dark. Remember what I talked about just a little while ago. It is your mindset. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you're worthless, that you don't look nice, that you smell, that all this other bad stuff, you are going to end up putting out bad stuff. But when you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, today's going to be a good day. Today I'm going to make my bed so I can feel good when I get home. Today, I'm gonna make myself something a little nicer. Today, I am going to make my hair. Like you just you say stuff that makes you feel good. And I've told this to people at work. When I'm not feeling okay, I dress up. And why do I dress up every single day? Because I'm not feeling okay every single day. So you do the little things that matter to you. Do the little things that matter to very, very, very minimal things that matter to you. But just like how I would tell someone very subtle things like, hey, every time I see you, I see that you're growing. Hey, you're doing a great job. It doesn't matter who you are. I even tell my manager every single day, you are doing a great job. Because why not? I don't care who you are. I tell you every single day. And that's how I get introduced now. Just the other day, someone on my team introduced me to one of their friends and said, this is Jonathan. He has the most upbeat attitude. Every time you talk to him, he just has a great attitude. Someone else even mentioned in the team meeting, uh, Jonathan himself, I always look up to him because he has the most upbeat attitude every single day. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is, he always is smiling. And that is very infectious. So when you preach to yourself, you are telling yourself that I want to be better and I'm going to get better. I am talking to you as if I am talking to myself. And it may sound corny, it may sound cringe, but at the end of the day, who cares? It's your life. You do what makes you happy. And if you keep trying to please everyone around you, you are going to end up in the same cycle that your parents ended up in, that your friends are ending up in, that everyone else is ending up. But once you start changing that, people start seeing it and they want to follow that example. All right, guys, we are at the end of the video for here. But before we finish off, if you haven't already, consider checking out my channel or my links in my bio. Check out all my stuff on my other socials. Also, if you would like to support me, I have the Buy Me a Coffee link in there. It doesn't mean that you have to, but if you would like to, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to finish up here. So let's get this over with. Let's see. So David was anointed. David was chosen. David was strong. And David was still struggling. Your depression doesn't mean canceling your calling. Your sorrow does not disqualify you from your faith. If God used David in his lowest moments, he is not done with you either. Do not feel like this is the end. Do not feel like this is never going to end. What do they always say? Time heals. Yes, that is true. But what actually heals is you deciding to work on your things that you are not okay with, that you have been struggling with since you were a kid, that you have put your mindset on, that you have put in the back of your brain or your mind where you forget some of your childhood. There's there's a reason why you feel like you're being attacked the most. The devil always wants to get to the ones that are going to do big things in God's name, right? He's not going to go after a nobody because a nobody is already on his side. But you're feeling some type of way, and we don't always go back to the scripture when we're not okay. What do we decide to do? We decide to go out. We decide to go have a drink. We decide we're going to go smoke. We're going to do stuff that we shouldn't be doing, right? It is okay up to a certain point. But when you're ready to actually start changing your life, accept that you are being called for something bigger. One of these days coming up, you're going to get hit in the face with reality. And it's going to push you to the point of, I don't want to do this anymore. And what have I said before? The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing every single day and expecting different results. If you keep drinking every single day, expecting that you are going to get better, that's called insanity. But if you decide that I am going to pray and I am going to stop what I am doing so that I can be better, then yes, we're gonna eventually get to that point. You pray for what you want in your life, and then you start following that model. You don't pray and then you don't pray about your finances and then go start gambling. You don't pray for a woman of God and then go to a strip club. You don't you don't pray for mental health and then you start taking a bunch of pills. You bring all your stuff to God and then you start modeling your life after it. And then that's when you're going to get rewarded. That's when you're going to get blessed. How do you think people out here, and we always say our friends are getting blessed by this and then, how do you see their life? How do you see them when they're out in public? How do you see them when they're with you? Because they're following their model, their standard. And my wife has always told me this too. Don't allow your standard to be your bottom line. Always keep raising it. So it all starts with one thing. It all starts with praying and then actually going through with it. If you think that you, out of everyone in the world, is any different, I mean, you're just putting yourself down more. Even the highest people that were doing biggest things in the Bible and following God's example still had to suffer through some stuff. But that's where he used them. He used them in the way that it was going to represent him and also build that person. You are called, you are chosen, and you are anointed. Don't think otherwise. All right, guys. So that's going to be the end of this video. I do thank you if you're watching. If you feel like this helped you at all, or you feel like this would be good for someone else, share it with them. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Please take some time to rest, and God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.